Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahil-Fattahil-Alim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear watcher, dear subscriber, hope, dear teachers, dear parents, dear students, hope you will be fine and in the high state of Iman and health. Today, it is my series of the lecture, part 2. As you have watched and you have learned part 1, we were on the question how to write the age of the Pope. The age of the Chaucer. How to write the age of the Chaucer. So it is the second part of my lecture. So let's get started. Chaucer. Let me just fit it because it's not working like now. It will be a better situation. So we are here to start now. Chaucer's part 2. Chaucer's age, both medieval and modern. After intro, it is the second part that we are going to discuss the main keynote of the question. Chaucer's age, like most historical or historical ages, was an age of transition. This transition implies a shift from the medieval to the modern times. The emergence of the English nation from the Dark Ages to the age of enlightenment, though some elements associated with modernity were coming into prominence, yet mostly and essentially the age was medieval's, unscientific, superstitious, chivalrous, religious-minded, and backward in most respects. The 14th century, as J.M. Mainly puts it in the Cambridge history of English literature, was a dark epoch in the history of the England. However, the silver lining of modernity did succeed in piercing here and there the thick darkness of ignorance and superstitions. In fact, the age of Chaucer was not stagnant. It was inching its way steadily and surely to the dawn of the Renaissance and Reformation, which were yet a couple of centuries ahead. We cannot agree with Kittredge, who calls Chaucer's age a singular modern time. That is also a quotation, and we are going to discuss here right now. For the matter, not to speak of the 14th, even the 18th century was not modern in numerous respects. What was noticed in the 14th century is the start of the movement towards the modern times, and not the accomplishment of the movement, which was going to be march of marathon nature. Robert Dudley, French observers, it was an age of restlessness and aimed the ferment of new life. The Chaucer lived and wrote old things and new peers side by side upon the pages, and in his poetry we can study the essentially spiritual both of the age that was passing and of the age that was to come. What are these old things and new, and what made the age restless? The answer will be provided if we discuss the chief events of the feature of the age. So let me start again. Let me clear it now here. Now there are the features of the main event. The 100 Years' War. The period between 1337 and 1453 is marked by a long succession of skirmishes between France and England, which are collectively known as a Hundred Years' War under the able and warlike guidance of King Edward III, 1327 to 1377. England won a number of glorious victories, particularly at Crecy, Poitiers, and Agincourt. The French might crumbled, and Edward was one acknowledged even the King of France, but later, after his demise and with the succession of the incompetent Richard II, the England might wend, and the French were able to secure tangible gains. The war influenced the English characters in the following two ways. Number one, the fostering of nationalistic sentiments, and the second one, the demolition of some social barriers between different classes of society. It was obviously natural for the conflict to have engendered among the English a strong feeling of national solidarity and patriotic fervor. But as Kempton Ricketts another critic remind us, the quotation is, the fight is memorable, not Compton Ricketts and memorable not merely for stimulating the period of England men. It is important too for the second reason given above. It was not the aristocracy along which secured the victory for England. The aristocracy was vitally supported by the lowly archers, whose feats with the bow were a force to reckon with. The Floris art. The French chronicler, referring to the English archers, says they let fly their arrows so wholly together and so thick that it seemed snow. The recognition of the services of the humble archers brought in a note of democratizations or democratizations in the country, and the age-old iron curtain between the nobility and the proletariat develop a few chinks. This was an advance from medievalism to modernism. The age of chivalry, another chief point which we are going to discuss it here right now. But before going to here, I want to close part 2 of my lecture, how to write the age of Chaucer. So again, request to subscribe official channel Professor M. Raza, Urdu channel Hope and Cause Info TV, and our competitive exam channel and channel for the real change in Club TV. So let me go now and say with me, do something more for humanity, do something more for knowledge and practices. Bye bye.